Today, we're counting down the top 10 cars that need to be in Project Cars 3. This is Triple Crown Racing. Let's get into it. An announcement regarding Project Cars 3 is supposedly on the horizon. However, that may go by the wayside like it has every other time there has been news in the coming weeks. According to an article on DigiStatement, major news is expected to be released this month, so April by the looks of things, perhaps along the lines of gameplay or even a trailer. I am a massive supporter of the Project Cars series, and I've absolutely loved playing Project Cars 2. And you may be able to tell that by the 30 plus videos that I've made on this channel playing Project Cars 2. However, I do have a few concerns about the new game for a few reasons. The first, and perhaps the most prominent reason, is the fact that it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Need for Speed Shift, which leads me to believe that it may be more of a simcade, which I feel might defeat the purpose of the game a bit. I also think that Ian Bell, he's the man behind Slightly Mad Studios, I believe he's the CEO actually, is a bit of a William Story type character, and I believe this is because he says the game is 200% better than Project Cars 2, and that it will blow every other racing title out of the water, and judging by his tweets, he seems a bit overconfident. I should also mention that Project Cars 3 is currently in development, so that's what they're basing that 200% better figure off. I also don't know how the recent acquisition of the recent acquisitions by Codemasters will affect the game. So those are why I have concerns. However, if I had a hand in the game, I have a number of things I'd like to add. Many of those things relate to new cars. So today, we're going to be counting down through some of the cars that I believe should be in Project Cars 3. Number 10, DPI Cars. Okay, I know this is not a single car, but the reason I'm not listing single DPI cars on this list is because I want as many DPI cars as we can. The reason I open up with this is because I'm willing to bet that the majority of Project Cars players are sports car fans. DPI category has proven itself to be one of, if not the best prototype racing category in competition at the moment, and I'm pretty sure that most sports car racing fans like it. 4 cars are currently eligible for DPI, and these include the Cadillac DPI VR, the Acura ARX05, the Mazda RT24P, and the Ligier Nissan DPI. All of the aforementioned cars are based on LMP2 chassis. In Project Cars 2, sports car fans had to suffice with the LMP2 chassis for their Daytona 24-hour simulations. But if they put the DPI cars into the third installment, we'd finally have the real deal. The good news is, Codemasters, who have just bought SMS, have already used the Cadillac and the Acura in their new title, Grid, which is a rehash of one of their older games. So unless there are some problems over licensing, there is no reason why they can't do it again. Number 9, BMW M8 GTE/LM. The BMW M8 GTE, or the Thick Mate as it's known in the racing community, is one of the most loved GTE/LM cars. Whether it's solely due to the memes is up for debate, but regardless, most people in sports car racing like the M8. For the new Project Cars game, the M8 should replace the aging M6 GTE. If it were to be in the game, Project Cars fans would finally be able to experience the Thick Mate in all of its thick glory. Number 8, VF Holden Commodore Supercar. I know my buddies in Aus-NZ are a little disappointed that they have never been able to select any other supercars other than the Ford FG Falcon. Not that there's anything wrong with the Falcon, of course, but variety is the spice of life. Perhaps we could finally get some Holden v Ford action in Project Cars 3 if SMS asked General Motors kindly enough to use the Holden badge. Now, the reason I say the VF rather than the ZB is 1, I like the VF better, and 2, I feel that SMS might have an easier time getting a hold of a VF license. That said, the ZB was in grid, so you never know. Maybe SMS could take advantage of now being a part of Podies. Number 7, Audi RS3 LMS. The touring cars in Project Cars 2 produced some of the most incredible racing I have ever experienced throughout my time in online racing. Last year, I participated in the Aus-NZ Combined British Touring Car Championship, and there's a full playlist for that championship on the channel, as well as all of my other Aus-NZ exploits. I thoroughly recommend giving both the group and those videos a look. Link in the description to the BTCC playlist. So I think it would be cool if they added some more TCR cars to Project Cars 3, and why not have the Audi RS3 LMS? Let us fans bask in the glory of its 5-cylinder engine. Let us have another badge that we can imprint onto the bumper of the car in front of us when we inevitably trade paint and rear-end it. Sounds fun to me. Number 6, Brazilian stock cars. This is a cool little series which comes from Brazil, as you may have guessed, and I'd like to have a go in one of these in a Project Cars game and maybe do a series in them. It's not entirely out of the question either, as Automobilista 2, which was developed using an engine created by SMS, has in it the Chevrolet Cruze, which has been used in Brazilian stock cars for the past few seasons. Now, these things are really cool because you have a 5.7 litre V8 pumping out 550 brake horsepower, which is 410 kilowatts, in a car that really isn't that big, and I reckon that would produce some interesting racing. I'd most certainly like to have a go in one of these things. Number 5, Orica O7. We have had the older Orica O3 in Project Cars games for quite some time now. I've actually had it in the game since the original installment of the game. And as much as I like its exquisite handling, I think it is time for an update. The Orica O7 has been the car to have in LMP2 in both the WEC and the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship over the past few years. And I'd certainly like to have a go in a new prototype with some cool liveries from the past few years, maybe Rebellion, maybe Jackie Chan DC Racing, maybe Dragon Speed, and a few other ones, and have a go with the cool Gibson V8, which is used in LMP2 now as well. Also, this year in the Aus-NZ Combined Daytona 24 Hours, which I'm still yet to upload, the entire LMP2 field was made up of Ligier JSP2 Nissans, because it was just the best car in P2 for Daytona. I think it'd be nice to have a bit more variety in P2, and I think the Orica O7 would fit in nicely. Number 4, Ford FGX Falcon. We have had the aging FG Ford Falcon in the last 2 installments of the P Cars franchise, and while we all like it, other games have the much newer supercars in the game, and I think it's about time that the FG was retired in favor of the newer FGX. The reason I haven't said the Mustang is because I reckon a Mustang license may be a bit difficult to come by, but Grid has already used the FGX Falcon in that particular title, so again, P-Cars may be able to take advantage of being part of Codemasters, and if this car is in the game, I'm looking forward to some Ford v Holden action. Number 3, the new Aston Martin Vantage GT3/GTE. Project Cars has always prided itself on its wide selection of GT3 cars, so this coming game has to nail it, especially with the release of Assetto Corsa Competizione. The old Vantage GT3 was very slow in Project Cars 2 and was probably one of the slowest GT3 cars in the game, so I think it's about time we got the new version of the Vantage. And while unfortunately the V12 Screamer is gone, I'm sure the car's new twin-turbo V8 will suffice, and I'm sure the new Vantage will be a welcome addition to the GT3 class. And if you've got the rights to the new Vantage, why not throw in the GTE car as well? Much like in GT3, the V8 Vantage GTE is a little down on pace compared to some of the other offerings from manufacturers in the current crop of GTE cars we have in the game, so the new Project Cars game would be a perfect time to add the new Vantage GT car. Number 2, Mazda 787B. I've always felt that there was something missing from the current crop of Group C cars that we have in Project Cars 2. We have the iconic Sauber C9, the Jaguar XJR9, and the Porsche 962. Three of the most iconic Group C cars, among others, in Project Cars 2, and the only one that was missing, in my opinion, was the Mazda 787B. The 787 is best remembered for its win at the 1991 24 Hours of Le Mans, and of course its godly sounding rotary engine. This car, in my opinion, is the last car that Project Cars really needs to complete its roster of Group C cars, other than maybe the Peugeot 905. I, for one, would absolutely love to experience this Mazda with the rotary engine in Project Cars 3. And finally, we have arrived at number 1. So far, we have been through 9 incredible cars that should be in Project Cars 3, and now we have arrived at a car that the third installment in the franchise absolutely must have in it. So the number 1 car on this list is the Dallara IR18. When it was released, Project Cars 2 was one of the only, if not the only game to have a full grid of IndyCars with official liveries. If SMS are able to continue with their IndyCar partnership into Project Cars 3, they will need to exploit it as best they can with official driver names, official liveries, and of course the current IndyCar being the IR18 in both Honda and Chevy guises, and oval and road course guises. If they can hold on to their IndyCar deal, it may give Project Cars 3 a desperately needed edge that SMS will need to fully exploit in order to stay afloat amongst the current crop of racing games to deliver on Ian Bell's promise that the game will be better than any other racing title currently on sale or coming out in the near future. And that's going to do it for this video. I do want some feedback on this one because I want to know what you think of these face-to-face style top 10 videos. I know I've done plenty of face-to-face videos before, but I want to know what you think of them in these top 10 / factual documentary style videos. So please leave your comments, your feedback on that in the comments below. Obviously, I've done these sorts of videos with images only, but I want to know what you might think of them face to face from now on. Maybe leave your list of cars in the description below, in the comments below, and what you think if I maybe I did a top 10 tracks for Project Cars 3 video. Do you think the game will be a success? Is it gonna flop? Would you get it? All of the socials in the description below, including the TCR, Instagram, Twitter, and my personal Twitter, and the invite to the Discord server, which is now working. Please click those links if you haven't already done so. So that's going to do it for today. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.